Welcome everybody to the Social Media for B2B Growth Show. Today's live stream is going to be two Nannas talking LinkedIn. Now, for some of you who know me already as Michelle J. Raymond, you're thinking, where's the other Nanna? It is me. It is what my friends call me. But ta-da, I brought another Nanna from the other side of the world. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you so much from the land up over, because you're from the down under, so I must be from,
The other side. So for people joining us, we met in Denmark. I'm repping my Copenhagen shirt. So I went full tourist mode. Lil and I got matching shirts and walked around Denmark and just went, we are tourists, and absolutely loved it. So it was so fabulous to meet you at the Link Summit. And I said to you, I want you, Nanna, to come on my podcast. And then very quickly I went, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to change the format of my podcast, but I don't want to miss out on talking to you. And you graciously said, don't worry, let's make this happen on LinkedIn. So we are here to do that today. Now, I told you as well that I wanted to share some special moments out of my speaker diary about how you and I cross paths, because out of the 450 people that were there live, you were one of my favorites and my standouts. And I'm not just saying that because I've got photos to prove it. So for anyone that missed the Link Summit, come on a quick journey with us. This is Meta standing on stage with all the other speakers, and you can see there's lots of maybe familiar faces like Richard Vanderblom, Richard Moore, Yasmin Alich, Mark Williams, myself, and then there's lots of the Danish speakers. Nanna, can you give me a few of the Danish names that were there beside yourself speaking?
Yes, of course. So Nick Wittfeldt, which is somebody you have to, and Mette Vild, of course, was standing on the stage. Torleif, amazing person, and one of my favorite people, Tony Mikkelsen. He is my BFF when it comes to LinkedIn. I mean, you guys have Johnny Spirian, we have Tony Mikkelsen. He is a legend when it comes to tech and LinkedIn, I'm telling you.
He sure is. And he was helping me. Like, there's so many other fabulous people. I need to brush up on my Danish because there were so many cool talks that were going on there. But out of 450 people, when you walk into a conference like this, you got to find your people. You got to find a way to stand out. Now, my audience knows me for my pink shoes, but let me just bring up the shoes that you wore and tell me, why do you go into these places with some fancy shoes like I did?
They are so glitterish, and I love these shoes. And we connected over shoes before before even the summit, which is amazing. You told on your post, and this is a great how to network. You told on your post you will wear your pink shoes, and that somebody will say that doesn't matter. That's an irrelevant detail, but it gave us an opportunity to connect over something besides just LinkedIn. I love glitter and gold. I even wear gold today, even though silver is the new color, according to OL. The Olympics.
Yeah.
But I brought that because I wanted shoes that was flat so I could actually stand in them all day, but also wanted something that says like, yeah, I'm that kind of person. Don't come over if you're not ready for, wow, So it's a warning sign.
Now, there was a little bit of wow, and some of that's caught on picture again. So I'm going to share another image with the audience. Now, this is a quick picture of you on the ground behind me holding some of these pink balloons while I try and grab some action shots. So, this is one of my favorite memories at the conference, but it wouldn't be the same as we had a small serious moment, which was apparently captured on the screen there as well. So shout out to Lean, because I'm just practicing, as I said to you before the show, and we bonded over our pack of Tim Tams that I was giving away. So these were how we got started, our conversations. And oh my God, can we talk about this? Can we talk about how you haven't even managed to open the packet yet? Like, that is a miracle.
Yeah, but it's like it just get pushed because we're gonna open when we have a special. We can actually enjoy it, me and my husband, and now it's just sitting there because like, no, it's not special now. No, not now, not yet. And it, no matter what, we're putting it up so high on a pedestal. I mean, it can taste like heaven, and it won't even be enough for what we are doing right now.
Now, we have a very special person in the audience who has reminded me that we are not just going to meet once, my friend. We are going to cross paths again at Uplift Live in the UK, March 2025. So if you are in the UK and watching or listening to this later down the track, if you haven't grabbed your tickets, upliftlive.com, I think is the website. John, if you can drop that into the comments, that would be amazing. That's my opportunity to try and meet up with a whole new community over in the UK. So if you're going to be around, it's going to be my first time. I'm speaking on company pages. Now, did you go last time? Were you an attendee?
Yes, I was
Oh
a
my
part
God.
of the first, I still have my over here.
Look at you
So
go. Look
yeah,
at you go. The
my background
inaugural.
is made of something that's special or unique or telling a story for me, which is a lot of plants, and also this one.
I love it.
Link Summit is of course down here as well.
Love it. So I can't wait to meet up with everyone on there. And I'm busily working in the background saying, hey, if anyone's in that part of the world, please come grab your tickets. The early bird tickets, I think, are still on sale. It's the best time to grab them before they continually go up as we get closer to the time. So I would love to meet up with everyone. Now, Nana, I told the audience that we are going to be talking all things LinkedIn. And before the show, you and I were talking last night, my time, where I said, what are the things you love about LinkedIn? Maybe what are the things you hate? And there's some pretty strong words, but I'm that kind of person. I kind of live on the extremes as far as these things go.
What? You?
But I know, right? Everyone's thinking I'm sitting on the fence just walking along, but it's not my style. So I got a couple of questions for you, and we're going to throw to the audience as well. If you've got questions that you'd like to ask us, please drop them in the chat so that we can bring those in as well. So I took your list and I picked some of my favorites. So we're going to switch between things we love, things we hate, and we'll talk through these and why we kind of have that view of these kinds of things. So let's start with the love. Let's share the love. Now, one of
Yes.
the things that you said you love is when the content process and creating doesn't have to be boring. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Okay, I'm gonna try to hold myself by now, so I don't just go on a rampage. For me, when I say that it doesn't has to be boring, is because easily we get overwhelmed, and this doesn't matter if you are on the company page or if it's the personal, if it's the first time or the 100th time or whatever. It's just so easy getting overwhelmed, scared, or overthought about what can I do about content. And I think one of the main thing is that we let it get too boring. We get up in our head. It has to be serious. It has to be, we focus on all of our goals. And then we just get stuck in not doing something because it's getting overwhelming. If we see content, the process, as something as like, okay, how can I relax doing this? And I know there gets a lot of, but it has to be serious. Yes, I know. But how can I be relaxed? How can I actually enjoy this? Is it to write fucking every second word? Because I think that's fun. Is it to listen to a banger song meanwhile? Awesome. Is it to make Marvel references all the way through? Doesn't matter. Go do you in that process so it doesn't get boring. And I know some will say, yeah, but then it gets unserious because it doesn't work for my company page. Fair. But when you're done creating the content and you think this is too much, then you can always tone it down. It's a lot easier to take out the Marvel reference or that you wrote fucking this fucking shit. You can take all of that out easily. And then what you're left with is a piece of content. Not a piece of cake, but a piece of content. And then at least your process was more fun, which means you're more motivated to do it again. You didn't get so easily overwhelmed. And that's just being, okay, how can I not make this boring? And I think that's important, no matter if it's employer advocacy, the web page, personal profile, whatever. Just how will it look so it doesn't get boring to you? You can always edit. That's easy.
Absolutely. And shout out in the comments here that people are saying,
Hey, Hannah.
you don't know how to be boring. And I reckon you're probably right. So
I'm a fan of
um,
Hannah. She's just so much energy. She was actually at the Link
She
Summit.
was, she was, and we are connected. So I'm so glad that she was able to make this today, and everyone's kind of back from their summer break and enjoying the sunshine for a few weeks. But I think what you're talking about is really important because one of the things that I find with people when they're creating content, to take your point, is it becomes a chore. It becomes something that they avoid like the plague, procrastinate, find everything else under the sun to do because it doesn't really light them up. It just becomes a to-do list item. And I don't know about anyone else, but to-do lists aren't really my jam. It's not my thing that I enjoy doing. So what happens is I have a word for it. I call it create your digital twin. And what I mean by that is however you show up when I meet you. So if we're at the Link Summit or if we're face to face in the UK, however I meet you like that, I want you to be that person when you're on LinkedIn. And I did some training with a bunch of real estate agents this morning. And one of them said to me, like, Michelle, there's this AI, there's all this other stuff. Like, I'm a bit of a technophobe. Like, I'm a bit overwhelmed by all of this. I don't know where to start when it comes to LinkedIn and other social media. And I said to her, what made you a great real estate agent? Let's start with that. And then we can work on worrying about all the other tech side of things. And so for me, it's always coming back. And if you find that you're pushing back against getting active on LinkedIn, it's typically because you're trying to be a LinkedIn version of you. And I did it myself. The first 12 months when I had my own business, oh my God, I don't think we would have been friends back then because I thought I had to be a LinkedIn trainer and I had to do things in a certain way and sound like the LinkedIn help desk. And I got to the end of that first 6 months. Yeah, you can imagine, right? I was like, I hate this. If this is what creating content as a business owner is, I'm out. Like, this isn't for me. But it turns out when you actually just show up as yourself, man, it's more fun. It's just so much more fun.
It
And
is.
Heidi's joined us as well. So yeah, another shout out for you. Never boring with Nannas on drop. I couldn't agree more in the short time that we've known each other. So, I think we can both agree on that. Something that we both love is that don't be boring, be yourself, and don't be afraid to experiment and try some things.
Yes. Have a little
And
fun with it. It gets easier.
yeah, and I think that brings us into the thing that we kind of both said we hate. And I'm going to throw it out there. I hate this. I hate it. And what it is when I'm scrolling LinkedIn and I see advice, which is basically you have to do LinkedIn this way. Everyone must do it the same way, or you're all going to fail. The one
Yeah.
size fits all approach. Tell me, this is on your hate list too. What drives you crazy?
But it's just killing people. I mean, mentally, it's just, oh my God, because I mean, we have learned it in every other aspects of life. There's one size fits all. It's not a great fit. It really isn't. Doesn't matter if it's clothing or workout routine or daily work. I mean, nothing. But when it comes to LinkedIn or overall just marketing, I mean, there can be a finding your strategy process that might be the same for a person, but the put out the strategy, it will be so different. I mean, if one size fits all, then the same strategy for one new entrepreneur with nothing will be the same as for the company with 5,000 people. That cannot be the same. And I just see that when, especially a new entrepreneur or just somebody who wants to network, they see this is the perfect strategy, but it was actually built for 5,000 people company. They get overwhelmed and are like, oh my God, I'm not even good enough. I can't even start because I have to know both LinkedIn and I need to know StreamYard and I have to know about my legal department and I also need some templates and I need a great cover picture and I need da 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 da, and it just keeps on going. But I mean, I think you just addressed it in your last podcast. Just simple questions like, what is your goal? Where are you at now? And what resources, skills, or whatever do you have that could actually hit your target audience? So, for instance, if you say, like, okay, but my target audience, they really want content with great value about real estate. fine. And you know about this, but you're really not good at writing. Let's say that's not one of your resources, but you're really good at talking with people. Well, then you might look into video content because that will fit you. But the one size fits all strategy says that you have to do long format newsletters. You have to give all of these ebooks, and then you're just killing yourself over not being able to do that. And that's why I hate the one size fits all, because people think that you have to do this and this and this and this and this, and therefore they don't even get started when it just can be so much more simple. And this applies for the one person and the 5,000 person company. It fits that mindset of do your own thing, what works for you, your target audience, you as a person, your skills, your goal, all of that. That's what matters, not the here is the perfect way. Here is how to go viral. Damn it.
That makes me rock in a corner. That, all the copywriting tricks. If you do this will happen. And, the thing that worries me most about that is there is no one size fits all, as we both agree very much here. And, thanks for the shout out to the Social Media for B2B Growth podcast. Last week's episode was on profile versus company page posting wars. Everybody says don't post on your company page, you don't get as much reach and engagement. And I'm saying that's fine, but I've got some of my clients that it does not matter how much reach and engagement I could say they would get more. They don't have the resources, they don't have the inclination, they are not interested in having their staff post content. And no matter how much I personally know the benefits, it's not right for them where they're at right now. And so these are the things that I want people to be mindful of. If someone says thou shalt do something, even if that person is one of the Nannas here on stage, then I want you to run the other way. I want you to run as fast as possible and never look back, because it's just not right. And I've got a bit of a bee in my bonnet about that in particular at the moment, because what happens is people try on these strategies thinking that it should work for them, doesn't work for them, and then they give up. And that breaks my heart when people go, LinkedIn's not for me, it doesn't work for me. Is there anything else you're thinking that's come up on this topic that you want to kind of throw in there as well? Or we do have a question from Ratner, if you want to jump to that one. Will we jump to the question?
Yeah, because I know I'm just gonna keep going on the same, and I think you just added all the most important parts. So to keep the flow, I'll say like,
all right, we're on the same page. Let's go to Ratner's question. It's so great to have Ratner on here. It's so cool that you've been able to make it. So she is going to be coming to see us in the UK. Fingers crossed. I will be sending you the details so that you don't miss out. But the question that she had was, how do we both overcome the expectations of yourself on being present on LinkedIn? What a fabulous question. Like because I think Ratner is asking the question that so many people are thinking.
Yes.
Where would you start? First? You go first.
Okay. So for me, it was a long journey, and I started just as you, Michelle. I was a horrible version of myself, but very polished, very, very fine and everything. And I, of course, like everybody else, had this idea that I have to put out. It was all about knowledge. It was all about what I could share of value, which would only be knowledge. And I think I started to test a little bit of like putting out some of my funny side, some of my unpolished version of myself. And where I really changed my mindset was actually an experience when I did the videos. And this was very much a breakthrough for me. I tried to do videos and I hated seeing myself on those videos. I couldn't post them. It could not happen. Specifically, what I hated when I saw is that I tend to smile and I do this and I get the double chin. And I hated being confronted when I'm just being so open and honest about it. I hope people relate to it more. I hate that when I smile, my eyes become smaller. So I couldn't post the videos. What changed was that suddenly I saw some of the family photos from an event we were at. It was not a wedding, but something smaller. And somebody had took pictures of me there, because you do. And I was confronted with this same face as I saw in the video, the double chin and the small eyes and everything I didn't like. And then I thought to myself, oh my God, everybody actually sees me like that. I'm just not used to it. I mean, I'm used to the mirror version of myself. I'm not used to being confronted with how it actually is. So it's like, so my friends, my family, my husband, everybody still actually likes me that way, this normal version of myself. And that was the breakthrough for me, being confronted with, oh my God, they actually see that version and they are still here. Then I dared to put out the most authentic version of myself, which was through video. I don't say that you have to do video to go through this process, but that really helped me being like, wow, your family, friends, husband, wife, or whatever you have, hamster even, they can run away easily. They are still here, even with the double chin or the weird laugh or whatever may be your thing. They are still here. That helped me to be like, okay, I'll share more of myself. Somebody might not like it, but I know some people love it, and that helped me.
I love that. I like, thank you so much for sharing so honestly and authentically. This is part of why I wanted to have the conversation with you, because there is the other side to creating content on LinkedIn. And shout out to John Lacey, who I think this is a really important piece that we could all have a reminder of. I think we should have like a post-it note on our above our computer, is that it is really important to practice self-acceptance as a creator. I couldn't, and if anyone else that's, you know, watching in on this live and you've got some advice for Ratner on what you've found that works, please drop it in the comments. I love the community that we've got here. There's so many cool creators, especially shout out to Najessa. She's doing a cracking job, you know, and she's been in business for a couple of years now. So I'm so proud of, you know, someone that I've been watching grow over time, and as just really owning her space. So it's cool to have her here in the audience. My answer to this one is probably going to be around, I know when I sit in front of anything, whether it's this microphone, and for the record, I hate the sound of my own voice. I've come to love it now. Other people like it, but my voice is my thing. So you talk about double chins. Mine's my voice. Who would want to listen to it? Which, as it turns out, as somebody that has a couple of podcasts, really interesting choice of things. You know, I'm a sucker for punishment, but why do I do it? Why does the person who doesn't like the sound of their own voice, why do they do 2 podcasts? Why do they show up on LinkedIn Lives? Why do they do YouTube videos, which are all related around how I sound? And similar to you, I had to stop and think, I'm not doing this because I want people to think I sound good. I'm doing this because I am in service of the people that are watching this video. And I think that what I've got to say will make a difference to them. So anytime my brain stops and wants me to go into the, you know, some people might call it imposter syndrome, but when I am coming up against a wall and I don't want to create content, it's because I'm sitting there worried about how I sound, how I look, you know, is my production good enough? Should I be doing, you know, more fancy stuff? The second I focus on that and not on my audience and what I want to deliver in service of them, then it just goes all down the drain. But when I flick that switch and remember why I'm doing this, so all these people that are joining us live and will watch the replay later, when I remember them, out the window it all goes. So Ratna, I hope that that's helped you with some of these things, and you know, and everybody else that's kind of listening in, you know, like this is exactly the point that you just raised. I think we see ourselves so differently. It's not normal to see a reflection of yourself on a camera or a video or these kinds of things. So I really love these comments that are coming through. And they're just so beautiful and honest. And I think this is, you know, it shows that as creators, we're all going through the same things, you know, and, you know, and as we can see, Ratna, you know, we're here. It's all about being of service to other people. And so this is going to get the big tick of love from both of us on this side. Let's go to something else. And I think we're going to go to another love one because we just did the one size fits all. Yeah. But
that was a great question, I have to tell you.
And I think it leads into the next point really beautifully that we can probably expand a little bit. So it's the mindset that we approach things with sometimes it takes bravery.
Mm.
Now, sometimes we try new things and crash and burn, and it hurts, right? You can get feedback from people or no feedback from people. And we've all been there. We've all got our own stories, our war wounds. Tell me, is there a time you can think of where you tried something and it crashed and burned? And what made you keep going and keep getting, that visibility? Like, is there an example you can share? Because I know I've got plenty.
Yes. And I'll try to stick to an example, because again, then it's become very specific. I love to talk mindset, bravery, and I mean it when I say bravery, because bravery is just doing something that feels uncomfortable and is risky. That's bravery. That's why putting out a post takes sometimes a lot and sometimes a little bit of bravery. For me, in the beginning of it's often there, it hits the hardest. That's when you're the most vulnerable, I think, when you're still finding yourself and testing yourself. But when I was doing LinkedIn, I think I just started my business for maybe 1 or 3 months. It was very early in the beginning. I did a post and I had some kind of this is my experience about content. It doesn't matter what it was about. And then a guy from a very well-known Danish company, very huge, very successful marketing bureau, and he was a partner in there. He started criticizing, and I was like, shit. And I mean, I was like, fuck, they can't discover me, because I'm very afraid. And it continued like that. He was like, but what about this? You can't do that. And then he started being, on the person and not the subject. Yes, I'm not saying that. And I just remember it hit me so hard. It was my husband was actually home when it happened, because it dragged through hours, because every time he made a comment, I was like, deep breath. And it ended up being like, he wrote a comment. I was like, this is too nasty. I'm deleting his comment, and then I'm trying to respond to him in person. Before I even get to respond to him in person, he's starting saying like, oh my God, this is so childish. How can you even make a business? I was like, fucking hell. Yeah. And I really was crumbling inside. My husband, he was like, beat the shit off that guy. Shout out to him.
Shout out to him.
Like, yeah, but right now he's triggering the version of myself that I don't want to be. He's triggering the small me, the I am enough me, all of that. And I don't want that to be happening. I don't want it to. So it took everything for me to not saying you. I really didn't. I was just like, okay, that's fine. It's your point of view. I don't think we can agree. I hope you smile and laugh throughout the day. I think that's more important to you. Have a nice day. And then he's just, no, that's my cat. Go away. No.
No, the cat can come on. Every cat comes on. It's fine.
It was like he always says stuff.
It's hilarious. Okay. Cats have to come on LinkedIn Lives. It's a rule. Like, it's just a rule. And that's the thing, right? Like,
but that was my mindset thing. That was because that took a lot of bravery for me to not do the hide and fight, which I really wanted to. It was so uncomfortable, but I really reminded myself, I think a little bit of what you say, what is it, the service that I actually want to bring? This is not about him. It's not about me. It's about what the difference I want to do, but also from which version of myself, which one of me do I actually want to be? And I don't want to be that version that launches out. I don't want to be the version that has to go on other people's comment and say that they suck because you have more years of experience. I don't want to be that person. I want to be the person that I know I can be, who believes in myself, and who in Danish we have an expression, so I don't know English, rest in yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, and I really just wanted to be that. It took so much, but that was the action over the feeling, and that helped me a lot. That was my very specific example. I have to kick this cat out.
I'm so glad. That's fine. Have the cat. We love the cat. Welcome to the show, the cat. Just don't worry about the cat. The cat's welcome to the show. We got as we say, we've got cat cam going on, as John Lacey says. So mine's just scratching at the door, so we're fine. But it's the same thing that I share, and I know we're coming up to time or just gone over, and I hope you've got a few more minutes that I can steal out of your time, and we can keep talking for a little bit. But
I think you planned an hour in my book, so
I did, because the thing is, no one believes that the same person that stood on a stage in Denmark just, a few months back, that same person 3.5 years ago signed up for a digital marketing course, got to the first piece of homework that said, record a 5-minute video about yourself. And I freaked out, threw that course in the cupboard, and I can get it out of this cupboard just behind me. If people want proof, it's sitting there. There's a pile of paper this big. And I freaked out so much that there was no way on earth I could talk about myself or talk at all for 5 minutes recording. And so I threw the whole course away. Now, I made myself start LinkedIn Lives many years ago to try and get over that. And some people might be thinking, LinkedIn Lives, aren't they even scarier than recordings? No, because I'm just having fun here. But it takes that feeling of, I'm going to do this for reasons that were bigger than just me. This is important. This is what I'm here to do, and this is my mission. And so my mission is to help other people get more out of LinkedIn to grow their business. You have a very similar heart and mission to what I do. So it's always coming back to, why are we doing this? What are we actually here for? And I'm so glad that you kept going. I've had a few moments like that where I've been trolled along the way. Mostly I've got an amazing community. Shout out to everyone that's joined us here on the LinkedIn live stream. I forgot how much I love live streams. I just love them. So let's jump onto something that we both hate. So we're going to go over to the hate column now.
Yes.
And I want to hear from the people that are joining us live as well, whether this, what you've got to say about this particular topic. And what it is the content that's out there. It can be on a company page or profile. I don't care which you pick, or both. That is the all about me content. I don't know. I've had enough of it. How about you? Tell me why, what drives you crazy? And then if we were to flick the switch for people and say, hey, if your content's coming across me, try this instead. What would be your advice?
Ooh, I was actually planning a different answer in my head, and then you asked the question.
Sorry about that. Go with your answer first. We'll come back to the question. It's fine.
Okay. It's because I would like to start with, like, how do I normally define content? Because why does this bother me when you just be like, oh, we did this, we great, and me great, and cat, you have to move. And all of that, why does it so annoying? It's because when I hear the word content, I think about it has to bring value to an audience in some kind of way. That is for me content. When it's just about, hey, I had cake for lunch, or hey, we are just making our products better, look at us, then it's like, okay, that's information. And sometimes it's just noise, but in my opinion, it's not content. But if you perceive it as content, then there's something in my eyes, there's something you're not getting. Content is about bringing value to other people. And there's an important disclaimer to that, because everybody thinks like, oh, then I can't talk about myself. No, that's not the point. The point is that you can talk about yourself, your experience, your stories and all that. You can do that, but you have to think about, okay, what is that I want to tell the person in the other end? The reader, what is it that I want to tell them or give them? Is it entertainment? Is it inspiration? Is it motivation? And just being like, our product just got better. That's neither of those things. You can't just say that. But it's like, what would you actually like to bring to the person on the other side? If you think about that, then you can tell about, oh, we are very proud about this, and here's our journey, because then it's inspiration to other people. Or this was a huge struggle. We had to make a difficult cut, so on, so on. Here's how we did it. Then it's value in information, and you're sharing something that other people can learn from. There is a very big difference. And I'm telling that because whenever I said it before, people were like, okay, but then I can't tell anything about myself. No, that's not the point. Again, it's about, okay, what would you like to say to other people? And I hate it when other people is not even in the focus any part of the way, when it's just about me, my products, what I want, my goals, because that's noise. Of
Yeah.
course, you can think about that. That is important when you work. It's fair game. But when you sit down and communicate to other people, then why even do so? Don't knock that over. Um,
Exactly. It's like a two-way street, right? And I think from what you're saying there, I would be the same. And I think Nikki said it great. Shout out to Nikki. Thanks for joining us. But, writing to impress people or writing to help your potential clients. And
yeah.
I was working with one of my clients on their company page, and they come to me and they're like, Michelle, reach and engagement's down. We're not getting anyone really, engaging with the posts. And a quick look, and we diagnosed it, pretty quickly. It was the all about me, me, me post. In this case, it was the company page. And, it happens pretty regularly with company pages. Old school company pages were all about broadcasting company facts and here's our financial results. And we hired this person, and all the fingers point back this way. So the thing that you and I also, both love is, empathy. What's it like for the person on the other side receiving your content? I think we have to be responsible for the energy that we send out with our content. What's it like? And, sit in the shoes of the person on the other side. What is the problem that they're having that your content is going to make their day a little bit better around that? And, from some of this stuff, I see this content. It's okay to mix it up. We're allowed to have those moments where we post stuff because we want to post it. It's totally fine. Like when you've earned it by being in service to other people, go for it. There are times when I am absolutely indulging myself, sharing with people that I'm, off on my, adventures as a speaker and sharing my speaker diaries. I
Yeah, but
love sharing
even
those things.
those, I have to
But
sell, even those have some motivation and inspiration. Because
yeah,
if you're sitting there and actually want to be a speaker yourself, or you think about how will it be, and so you share experience, you share some feelings, you are very open about it, which makes it inspirational. You're not about,
absolutely.
hey, I was out doing a speak, book me for your next event. You don't doing that.
Exactly.
but,
But I am available just in case anyone's looking for a speaker. You know where to find me. But, Nikki's got it here again. Like when she's working with her clients, and Nikki does all things SEO specialist. So, same problem, I think, is what's going on there as content on LinkedIn is that people are writing, and it's just, when people end a post with a full stop, and
yeah.
that just means end of conversation. It's like literally just going, I'm right. End of conversation. I'm walking away now. And then they go, but no one commented. No one did anything. I
Yeah,
was like,
but why would
well,
they?
you spoke at them. You didn't
Yeah.
invite them into the conversation. Ask a question. So if you want to drive engagement on your LinkedIn post, then just ask questions at the end. Invite other people into the conversation. Now,
Can I add something to that?
you can.
Because I often hear people like, okay, but now we tried adding a question and people don't respond to it anyway. Then I go through their post, and sometimes they tend to still do the me, me, me. And then they ask a question that a salesperson would say. So it's like, do you have trouble with installing your tractors in the blah, blah, blah? And it's like, but who would answer that? And then I have a good rule of thumb. I actually have more than one, but now we're working with it. So the rule of thumb is, what would you answer to this question? If you think it's tough, then other people think the same. If you think that's a bit too much, or then I have to think about then other people will think the same. If you feel like it's easy, then other people do as well. And don't ask a question that you didn't put yourself out to answer first. Meaning, if you ask something like, what are your struggles in pushing yourself out there? And you didn't answer that question first, or give a honorable, vulnerable example before that, you can't ask that question because you didn't, make it a safe space. You didn't make people be like, okay, you can be here because I've been through it, or I am going through it. So you're safe here with me. Those are the rules asking questions, in my opinion.
Love it. I love it. And shout out to John and Nikki for some bad questions. Agree. thoughts. Like they're not conversation starters. If anyone else has got some funny ones, share them in the comments, because that's going to
Those are
make me
great.
laugh afterwards to go and have a think, and they'll probably pop up in things in my training. So any other good examples, let me know. So we're kind of coming round to the end. Now, what I guess to wrap this up, because the fact is, you and I will keep talking until we meet in the UK in March, which I am just throwing that out there. Again, if anyone has joined the live stream later in the show and you missed that, both of us will actually be attending Uplift Live in the UK. So it's in Birmingham in March 27, 2025. If you are able to make that location, John Asperian and his leadership team have created a really cool event. And I can't wait to go and speak there. And there's going to be so many other cool people. So we hope that anyone that's in the UK or nearby might be able to come and visit, because I'd love to meet more people. That's on my bucket list of things to do. So look, I like to think that we all go around LinkedIn differently. And my final question is going to wrap up. What are the interesting trends that you're seeing in Denmark and, your part of the world? What are the things you're seeing, or what do you think people would try a bit more, or what do you wish you could see less of? Just a quick summary about what your thoughts are on LinkedIn of 2024. Where are we headed? What's happening? What don't you want to see any more of?
Oh, that was a lot. So I'm not sure if this is specific for Danish, especially. I mean, our culture normally seen from rest of the world is more closed. Actually, we are more. We have something called Janteloven, which is a horrible thing. That is 10 rules that says you shouldn't think you're better than other people. Your people don't need you. It's a horrible thing, and a lot of Danish people have been living through that, which means we are very scared to even get close to being perceived as somebody who brags. There is some people who do the humble brag, we are much, and blah, 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 blah. But most Danish people, we are very, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to, I don't. And it's a lot because it's a part of our culture. And every Danish person knows what Janteloven is. We know that. And I think I can see that there is a bit of a breakthrough through that. So it is more and more being accepted that we can actually be more than that. We can actually say that, hey, I actually think I'm good enough, and not be shut down. And it's something that's evolving in our culture, and I see it more and more in LinkedIn. This has been going up in like years for now. Because it's still so integrated. But I think it's because we're also getting new generations into LinkedIn. And I think they are pushing us in a greater direction on that matter specific. Because in Denmark, we are too much. I don't want to be bragging. I don't want to be, please let me be more humble. Can I get down the bar? That is us. And I think it's good for us to be even more, I'm actually proud. And we are proud before we get a prize, and we are proud before we win something. And that is something I see more and more. And I hope that will keep on going, because we are already critical enough of ourselves. I think we should embrace a little bit more of our, hey, I actually have something to share because I'm proud of it.
That would be amazing. Now, John Lacey has asked, could you put the spelling of that word in the comments after the show's finished so that he can go and Google and learn about it? It's one of my favorite things, speaking to people globally. I've got some Swedish clients that I'm rewriting the business leaders' LinkedIn profiles. And I said, we're going to find a way to make you stand out. And then all of a sudden you see this like, what's going on? You want me to stand out? And culturally, they've been, everyone's the same, stay in line. And I was like, but I want you to stand out. So it's really quite interesting to go through how culturally, and we have our own version of that here in Australia, but maybe not to that extreme. But I think it's that global influence. I love that we're all cross-pollinating with each other around the world, you know, and when you have an amazing community, I call people overseas my LinkedIn friends. They're people
Mm.
that when I meet you, I want to give you a hug. So just, you know, I'm warning people, if you're not a hugger, you have to let me know in advance, because otherwise, look out, I'm coming for you. That includes you, John Lacey. I'm very, you know, I'm just putting it out there that if I get a chance, that's what I'm doing. So, look, I have absolutely loved this conversation as much as I thought. And I
Same.
appreciate that you bring honesty, that you bring the vulnerability, that you keep it real. And these are the things I loved about our conversation in Denmark. And I'm so glad that we've got to have it here today. To everybody else that's joined in the LinkedIn live stream, the whole community that's dropped all of their comments, I've had the best time. I realized that I missed doing proper LinkedIn lives. I think I'm going to make a habit of this and do it more regularly, because I think to have that conversation and include everybody else in the audience, it's just been amazing. So thank
Mm.
you for energizing me. Thank you for uplifting me. I
Thank you for
appreciate your
having
time.
me.
Look, it's just the best. And can you please eat a Tim Tam one day? Because like like, unless they go in the special things, they have to go in the special things, right?
I mean, I'm gonna
They'll be
put
on
it
the
in a shelf
shelf.
soon.
They'll be on the shelf. That's
They
okay.
might, but then
I
I'll never
totally
be eaten.
I totally understand it. So, to everyone that's joined us, Nikki, John, Ama, Najessa, you were here earlier, Hannah, we've got Jeanette, and if I pronounced anybody's names wrong, I apologize. I'm just Ratna, like, great questions. Heidi, thank you so much to everyone that joined us.
Yeah.
This has just been fabulous, and I appreciate you all. So, and until next time, appreciate it. And yeah, let's stay in touch, Nana. And we might have to do the two Nanas right again another time, I think.
Oh,
So
and the last punchline, one of my networks, he said the best thing. He says, if you invite 6 more nanas, you can say Batman. And I know that
no, no,
reference
no, no, no,
because
no,
of
no,
na
no,
na
no.
na 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 na. Yeah.
Okay, so shout out to anyone else who has a nickname of Nana or your name is Nana. We need 6 of us. There's a
Yeah.
mission. Can we make that happen? Because I'm up for it. So that is the best way to finish that show. So we've now got the wrap up. Na 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 Batman. Let's go.